We're on number 11 of the practice final. Ladies and gentlemen, when we focus in on number 11, you need to know something. You need to know the formula for finding the absolute value of a complex number. So if you don't know this formula right here, it's over, right? You need to know this formula. The absolute value of any complex number a plus bi will be the square root of a squared plus b squared. All right? So you need to keep that in mind. So let's do this right now. We already know that the a value is 2 and the b value happens to be negative 8. Of course, the b value has the I on it, but we're not going to include the I inside the formula. It's just the number in front of the I, which is the b, which is negative 8 in this case. So what is it? It's going to be the square root of a squared. You're going to put 2 squared plus b squared, and b is negative 8 squared. So what do we really have? We have 4 plus 64. And that is inside the square root. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we should do is focus in on simplifying the square root of 70, because 4 plus 64 is 70. Why am I saying 70? Math teacher cannot add. I apologize. It is 68, not 70. Or 70 minus 2. 68. Yes, that's right. So we need to simplify the score to 68, guys. Notice that the multiple choice answers, none of them are the score to 68, so we need to break it down. So let's try to break it down with the perfect score number like 4 or like 9 or 16. So what do you guys think it could break down to? Let's go with the highest perfect score number.
4.
4 and 17 is what we're going to break it down to. 4 times 17. And remember, you could split the root. That's the whole purpose of rewriting it, to get a perfect square number with multiplication. That way you get 2 squared to 17, and that is your answer C. Let's move on. Number 12 is very likely to be the hardest question in the entire final. Okay? Why? Because it says write a quadratic function that fits the points. Well, how the heck are we going to do that? One option, let me tell you how to cheat here. One option is to take these x and y values, plug in 0 for x and 4 for y, and see if it works. Now obviously 0 for x and 4 for y, it's going to say 4 equals negative 3. It cannot be a, right? If you try 0 for x and 4 for y on the next one, 0 here, 4 here, yeah, it could be this one, but you need to check 3 and 4. Plug in 3 for x and 4 for y. And then you also need to plug in 4 for x and 8 for y and see if it works. That's kind of like the way to cheat through this, right? Plugging in each of the x's and y's and seeing which equation will work for all 3 points. Now, the way you're supposed to do it is this. You need to know that you want to write it as a standard form quadratic trinomial, right? And what do they give you? They give you x and y values. So what are we going to do? We're going to create equations by plugging in the x and y value into my x's and into my y's. In other words, you're going to have to do something like this. You're going to have to... Whoops. Sorry. I rewrote those same 3 points, and this is a setup right here. This is a setup right here, and we'd have to plug in the x values, the x value 0, into the x spots. So I will have a 0 here and a 0 there, and your y value of 4 into the y spot, which will be over here. And then on the next coordinate, you're going to plug in your x values. The x value is 3. You're going to plug it into the x spots. So you're going to have a 3 there and a 3 there. Then you're going to plug in your 4 for your y spot. You're going to have a 4 out there. Why? Because your y is out here. 4 is y, so you plug it in out here, and there it is. So let's move on to the third coordinate. It says y. Y is 8, so you're going to plug in an 8 out there. And then, why did I change colors? I don't know, I apologize. And then the x is 4, so you're going to plug in a 4 for this x and a 4 for this one right here. So in reality, by doing that, you create 3 equations. So you have a 3 by 3 system. But instead of x, y's, and z's, you have a, b's, and c's. So let me rewrite this 3 by 3 the way it's supposed to be. The first one is just going to be 0 squared, which is 0, a times 0 is 0, b times 0 is 0. So you're just going to have c equals 4. That's my first equation. My second equation will have a, let's think about this, 3 squared, that's 9. So I'm going to have a 9a, b times 3, that's just plus 3b, and then plus c at the very end, right? Plus c at the very end. And it's going to equal 4, but I want to write that equals 4 on the right side because I'm used to seeing it on the right side. So there's a 3-variable equation, and that's the second equation. Let's move on to the third equation. You're going to have 4 squared, which is 16. So I'm going to have 16a plus 4 times b is 4b, and then the plus c, and then the equal sign, and we're going to put that equals 8 on the other side, equals 8. Okay, so we have technically a 3 by 3 system, even though that one of the equations is already providing us an answer. Okay? So if I want to solve this system of 3 equations, even though one of them is the answer already, I need to manipulate one or both equations to get something to cancel. But the thing is, you already know that c equals 4. So you're probably tempted to say, oh, I want to cancel out c's because I could just change this to a negative c by multiplying everything by -1. But you do not want to cancel out c's. You actually want the c to stay there. Why? Because you already know what c is. And you could actually, you know what? You could even do this right now. You could take the c value of 4 and put it right here and right here, because you already know that c equals 4. So what does this mean? It means that you really have, whoops, let me fix this right here. So when we plug it in, what we could do is actually rewrite this system as a 2 by 2 system, because you have the 9a plus 3b. Now that plus 4 that we have right here that we plugged in from c, I'm going to subtract 4 and subtract 4 to make it an equal 0. Does that make sense? All I did was subtracted 4, canceled, subtracted 4, and it gave me 0. And the bottom equation, if I subtract 4 and subtract 4, I'll have a 4 out there. So my bottom equation will be 16a plus 4b equals 4, because 8 take away 4 is 4. So this is really a 2 by 2 system that I could solve. So let's actually cancel out b's by multiplying the top equation by 4 and the bottom equation by -3. That way the b's will cancel out. So on the top equation, when we distribute, we'll end up with 36a plus 12b equals 0. And on the bottom equation, we're going to end up with negative 48a minus 12b equals -12. And now we're able to combine, cancel, and solve. And when we combine, cancel, what is negative 48 and 36? That's negative what? 12. Thank you for answering. Negative 12a equals -12. Now what does that tell you about the a value? That a equals 1. So that's an answer. How do you find the b value if you already know your a value? Plug it in. So we're going to take the 1 and plug it in. I want to plug it in right here. So my new equation will say 9 times 1, that's just 9, plus 3b equals 0. And now I could solve it. If I subtract 9 on both sides, I'll have 3b equals negative 9, which means that b equals negative 3 if I divide both sides by 3. Are you with me? So what do I have? I have an a, b, and a c value. So that is my solution right there, or my values for my solution. A equals 1, which is right here. B equals negative 3, and C equals 4. Now remember, A, B, and C all come from the standard form quadratic trinomial equation. So let me write out my answer here. It's going to be y equals ax squared, which is 1x squared, which I don't even need to write, plus bx, which is a minus 3x, and then plus c, which is a plus 4. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is my answer right there for number, what number was that? So let me go back over here to show you number 12. So that's my answer for number 12. C. Sorry. Anyhow, that's the way to do it. Could it be done another way? Yeah, absolutely. Again, you could kind of cheat by plugging in 0 for x, 0 here, 0 there, and 4 for y, which is over here on the f of x spot, and it will say 4 equals 4. If you plug this x value of 3 and this y value of 4, the 4 right here for the y, the 3 for x, it will give you 4 equals 4. And if you plug in the 4 and the 8 also, 8 for the y, 4 for the x's, it'll also give you a 8 equals 8. So this is the only one that'll work for all 3 points. But you'd have to test all of them. I don't know. It depends what you feel more comfortable with.